It's been a spectacular 2024 for horror, maybe one of the greatest years in horror of all time. Grace and I are really excited to run down our top films of the year. We're going to do it conversation style. Both of us are going to be on the couch, revealing our list to one another and to you guys watching here on Carnage Candy. I'm Shaun, this is Grayson.
Hello.
If you love horror content like this, we invite you to go to Hangtime's Patreon on patreon.com/hangtime to support two friends who love horror and be a part of the action. Make sure and subscribe and like if you haven't yet, and let's get right into it.
You want me to go first, or you want to go first? You want paper, rock, scissors?
It's weird because I feel like I know what yours are going to be. I feel like you know what mine are going to be.
I don't necessarily know the order of yours.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to have a couple on here that you didn't expect.
Okay.
And I think that you'll have a couple on yours that'll be in places I didn't expect.
Okay. For the sake of this video, I'll go first.
Okay.
Here next, Grayson's list will be after that.
Yes.
But this will be a two-parter, and we're going to roll our top 10 right now. And I'll go first, and
Go
you tell
for it.
me what you think, Grayson.
Okay, what you got? I am super interested to start, or to see where you start out.
Okay. I'm just going to leave it here.
Yeah, of
so
course.
It's not,
I'm going to look straight ahead so I don't see it, because
Yeah.
I want to be surprised.
Okay. My number 10,
Okay.
in a post-Roe v. Wade overturned world,
Okay.
we got a lot of babies getting born when they're not supposed to.
Okay.
So I'm coming in hot with Sydney Sweeney's Immaculate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Nuns and babies are back in a big way in 2024. And what was kind of like, I started it on a night Chelsea was out, and I watched it, and I was like, this is a 6, I'm having a good time. And then they talk about the science behind what happens, and I was like, that's some clever Jurassic Park shit. That's a 7. Have you seen it yet?
No.
You didn't watch it.
No.
So I'm like, that's some clever Jurassic Park shit. That's a 7. And then at the end, I'm like, that guy's on fire. This is a solid 7.5.
I just picture the standing up and clapping at the end of the film from you.
And then by the end, Sydney, she, after breaking her fingernail off on her rosary,
That's what I'm talking about.
and having a baby that, not a pretty sight. She gives one of the most painful looking births I've ever seen. I was like, okay, solid 8. Congratulations. I like this movie.
I like that for you. I like that you went in and was like, oh, it's okay. And then you ended it with what a B+.
Yeah, I love psychoanalyzing movies, and I love that 2024 is such a great year in horror, clearly from the fallout of terrible social issues. But Immaculate's a really good time. They tried harder than you think they did, and I think it was
I love that in horror. I love whenever you see a movie and you think it's going to be kind of rough with the trailer,
Yeah.
and then you sit down and give it a chance, and it's like, thank you.
It's about a nun who gets pregnant, and they think she's a reincarnation of Virgin Mary, and that is pretty terrifying.
Is it one that is it original?
It's original, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like how she's in a convent. She got pregnant without having sex. She must be the Virgin Mary. And guess who wants that baby?
The devil.
Well, the priests.
The devil.
And there's one thing that's scarier than the devil. It's good guys who think they're doing good
True.
by taking a baby that this woman did not want.
That's very true.
Coming in at number 9.
Okay, so Immaculate already kind of threw me off. I thought that was going to be a little higher for you, surprisingly.
Yeah. And the religion continues. We have Heretic crashing.
Wow, at 9.
I got some heaters on this one.
Man.
I got heat coming in. I got Heretic coming in. Subverting expectations. It was a good time. The only real issues I have with Heretic, other than that keeps from being perfect, is Hugh has his YouTuber strawman arguments that make you love it. I feel like our nun leads could have pushed a little bit harder, because they don't get the screen real estate to really debunk him, right? She kind of throws a couple of jabs his way, but I feel like she could have really messed him up, and they could have written it a little harder. But totally original.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant crushes it. My Wildcats girl crushes it. My Sweet Girl.
Wildcat.
Yeah, or Wild Jackets. No. Yellow Jackets girl crushes it. Wild Jackets. Our Yellow Jackets girl crushes it. They're very awkward and sweet together.
Yeah.
Opens really well. It's well shot. And just again, there's nothing scarier than a good guy doing stuff in the name of God, or not. And a great ending.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good horror films that were sticking endings.
Yeah, which is always kind of a rocky part in horror. Sometimes they either absolutely nail the ending or they just drop it.
I think that's why this year was so effective.
Yeah,
is
I
because
agree.
most horror films are sticking endings.
Yeah, every ending on my top 10 list, except for like one, I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, way to wrap it. All right, number 8. I just watched this one the other night. Korean horror.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Exhuma.
Yeah.
It's about a feng shui guy, a shaman, a mortician, and a conduit that form this kind of dream team. And these people make a ton of money relocating rich people's burial sites.
Yep.
And they are moving one burial site that's got some big issues. I mean, big issues. This guy, the guy they
Big.
deal with is big.
Big.
I don't want to reveal too much, of course, for the sake of spoilers, but it's really original and it's a fun dynamic because you have like this older guy. The shaman is actually a young woman, right? And then she's kind of teamed up with a conduit guy. So one of them's doing like the logistics of moving. The other guy, and he's doing with the mortician. The mortician deals with the bodies moving.
Yeah.
And then to decurse the burial sites, the shaman does stuff, and then they use the conduit guy as a medium to talk to spirits.
Okay.
They're like, hey, evil spirit, get in him, and then we're going to mess you up. They do a lot of stuff with reflections in this movie.
Okay.
There's a lot of, you're looking at somebody through a window, and then you're just watching it, and you're like, oh, God, that's a face I've been looking at this whole time. A lot of weird shadow work. I love hereditary stuff where we saw that in Oddity as well.
Yep.
I think I see something there, and there is.
Yep.
And Exhuma does that really well. And it turns into like a good old-fashioned kind of monster kind of movie.
Sounds like
right?
it has high rewatchability.
I think
from what
so.
you're saying,
Yeah. If you like K-horror, I think you're going to like Exhuma a lot. Highly original and a good time.
Shudder, right? That's a Shudder exclusive?
I watched it on Prime,
Okay.
I believe, but I don't know what that's available on. I think it was included in a subscription I already had
Okay,
through Prime.
cool.
Number 7, Spiders Are So Back in 2024. I was excited for Sting from the
Yes.
second I saw it.
The first set picture that ever came out of Sting, you showed it to me.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, look.
Yeah. So Sting is about a girl, Charlotte, and she has...
So sick. Her name is Charlotte.
And a little tiny egg flies in through her window. And then a spider comes out of it. And the spider grows like crazy. And people are trapped in their apartment building, and the spider keeps growing the more it eats. But that's not my number 7 at all. It's
so
Infested.
It's the other one. Yeah.
It's Infested.
Yeah.
Infested is a French horror film about a guy who brings the wrong spider into his apartment building, and this thing breeds like crazy. Have you seen Infested yet?
No, it was on my watch list, and it just got drowned.
Infested is the best spider movie since Arachnophobia, and it has the perfectly sized spiders. So Sting, the spider, ends up becoming like very large, like whole room size. These spiders, by the end of the movie, they're the size of like a coffee table. That's as big as they get. So they exist.
Which is the proper size.
Yeah, they exist in this big realm for most of the movie.
Yeah.
There's one behind the towel. There's one under your bed. Where is it?
Do they do the toilet seat?
It could be in the vents. I'm not going to reveal everything.
Hell yeah.
Because I don't want you to know where they're going to pop up and watch them. But it also has some body horror. The spider bites are really gross. Lots of pustules and popping. There's also a spectacular scene where they have to make their way down a hallway. And it is a web-covered, spider-freaked hallway. And the director of Infested actually got a job writing and directing the new Evil Dead.
Yep.
And so, obviously, it's a very good movie.
Did it make your skin crawl while you were watching?
Yeah.
Good.
It's the only issue is it's a little too long.
Yeah.
But again, they hit it with everything. It starts with one spider and it just spirals into a complete, utter shit show.
I feel like that's been an issue a lot here lately in horror, is they're going a little bit too long with horror movies.
Yeah. I think there is some restraint there. But
Yeah.
if you love giant spiders, you're going to love Infested.
Okay.
It was genuinely unsettling. Number 6 is the kind of movie that you will turn it off after the first 3 minutes if it's not for you. The Devil's Bath.
Yeah, I tried.
Did you try?
I watched a trailer for it and I went, mm-mm.
Oh, man. So The Devil's Bath is a historical horror movie about women who hundreds of years ago were committing suicide by proxy by using God's forgiveness as a way to kill themselves, to unalive themselves, excuse me. So it's about our lead character is a miserable woman. She is in a fishing town. So her daily life is she gets betrothed to a man. She has sex with him. I mean, she does what she can.
Yeah.
She gets treated like shit, unappreciated. Every day she has to go down and get fish. And she comes home and she reeks. And she cooks and she's subservient. And it's like, yeah, this is your life. Sucks. It's cold. It's wet. It's muddy. You smell like fish. She loves to collect butterflies and bugs and do pretty things. And guess what? Her husband's just uninvolved in her life. So she's miserable, right? And the movie opens, I'll just tell you right now, the movie opens with a baby getting tossed off a cliff, right? And it just shows this little child going down. It's, like if Kung Pao was serious.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrible. But it really drives home how, so the woman does this for the baby, goes to the church. The church says, cool, we're going to execute you. You're absolved of your sins. And so you can go to heaven. And she's like, oh, yes. And so hundreds of women believed this is how they could end their lives and not have to go to hell for committing suicide. And so the movie is about this woman really taking its time to show, the scary part is the way she has no joy.
Yeah.
Right? And the ending is, the movie starts with a baby death. So if you don't like it, you're already going to hate it. So the movie has to one-up that in some way by the end. And the crime that she commits is brutal and terrifying and really violent, and she doesn't want to do it, right? Because she's doing it for reasons, right? And her execution, if it happens, is spectacular, and it's really scary and terrifying because it happened. It was real.
It sounds like it would have the same effect that Speak No Evil had on me.
What's that?
I feel like I would just get angry at the movie.
You'd get mad at the husband. You'd get mad at the town. You'd get mad at society.
For sure.
You'd get mad at religion. You'd get mad at a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it is dreary and miserable, and if that's not your thing, you're not going to like The Devil's Bath. But it affected me, and it stayed with me, and that's why
That's what good horror does.
Yes. Number 5, First Omen is almost immaculate, but just way better.
I thought it was going to be flipped. With how you talked about the two.
No.
Because you talked to me more about Immaculate than you did First Omen.
Because I wanted you to watch the First Omen so bad. The First Omen is a 10 out of 10 horror. It's as good as none horror gets. Origin story that there's a lot of times when these films try to retrograde and make origin stories, they bomb out. But the First Omen is spectacular. It's original. It's got creepy scares. Empathetic character. It's got some really good body horror, birthing scenes. It's got demon stuff. It's got nuns. You know the Omen. You know what the caretaker.
So basically, it's the best one since the original.
Yes, I would say so. And it's effective. There were parts where I was like, why is this happening? And what are they going to do? And just like Immaculate, just like Devil's Bath, there are babies in danger.
Yep.
And this whole dynamic of the topic of like a post Roe v. Wade. First Amendment is such a statement about that, and it's awesome. It's really violent and fun, and it's masterfully made. It's great. I can't wait to see what else that director does. So, moving on to number 4, I got Smile 2, up high. I know Grayson's gonna hate it when he talks about it, but Smile 2, saw it in theaters alone. It is loud and the sound design is spectacular. The jump scares are really good in theaters. Audio's great. The lead kills it. It does just mind games the whole time with the lead and the audience. It uses its cast really well. Camera movements are awesome. It does these big, long takes. Technically, it's wonderful. The director will do like really good, like he'll be showing, all right, this is happening here, this is happening, panning over, it's happening, keeps panning, and it's not what you thought was happening is happening. And there's especially a scene later on where she's in the hospital and she's trying to like get out of her room with a dead body, and the camera movements are just like, the camera's just like, look what's happening, audience, look at that. And then it goes, look at that, look what's happening. Now look what's happening. You're totally wrong. And it's funny, it's a movie that's, a lot of times movies will be really mean to their leads. And like, you know movies where it's like, man, it would really suck to be that person. Like Smile 2 is like, man, it would really suck to be that lady. But like, I had a lot of fun watching her suffer. But it's weird because she's not like a hateable person. Like the lead in Smile 2 is like, it's pretty empathetic. She's Demi Lovato, like straight up, like word for word. Yeah.
I don't know about it. I don't know if I would compare her to Demi Lovato considering what her backstory is and what happens. But I can kind of see where you're going. But there's a big part where I disagree with that.
Yeah, well, she's a recovering drug addict trying to recover her career. And then there's a suicide demon coming after her. But yeah, Smile 2 is great. I'm so looking forward to Grayson not putting it on his list because I know I overhyped it to him.
I mean, I can tell you right now what I thought about it.
Go ahead.
I disliked it more than one.
That sucks really bad, and I question your taste every day. Number 3 is Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 is awesome. Gore effects are great.
It's the best gore effects out there.
Well, it's not the best.
It's the best for the budget they have.
Yeah. It's the best at grossing you out.
It is.
It's the most watchable. It's the most watchable you can get of watching something happen to somebody without turning away. That's why
it's the best gore. It's the best gore you can get for the budget.
That's why the gore effects are so good. It's really funny. I think my only issues with it is like the brother's a waste. It's a little too long. Maybe 20 or 30
Once
minutes.
again, the same thing that's been happening the past couple of years. It's just the length.
Yeah.
Just length issues.
Just edit it out. But I don't know what you'd cut. But Terrifier 3 is really fun. I would watch it. It's probably the only one I would really watch again. Like Terrifier 2's great. I think I would YouTube scenes from it. I don't think I would ever watch Terrifier 2 again. I think I would look at specific scenes. But since Terrifier 3 is so funny, in between its gore scenes, since Art is having such a good time, like I think you have to watch all of Terrifier 3 to like it so much. I feel like Terrifier 2 is a little bit more like, oh, I just want to see him throw acid on that girl, or it's like, oh, I just want to see the bedroom scene, right?
The Clown Cafe.
Yeah. I think Terrifier 3 is much more of a I want to sit down and watch the entire thing. But Terrifier 3 is awesome. It's great. It's only topped by 2 other movies, which is Alien Romulus at number 2.
Okay, yeah, I got your top 3.
Alien Romulus is, again, it's great.
Yep.
We gave it really high praise whenever we reviewed it earlier this year. I'm a huge Alien fan, so naturally I'm going to be inclined to love that.
Yeah.
The third act is so good. It is everything that happens, especially like, for instance, them putting like an auto targeting on that gun. Like everything's backed up by the universe really well.
Yeah.
Any other alien movie, people would have been like, how could she shoot the aliens? But the writing's really tight. I would say Alien Romulus is perfect, sans the in-home CG recreation.
Yeah.
Just really weird choice. And I think they could have put a real robot in there, or just done another kind of...
Or just made it a computer.
Yeah, I just made it a computer. But I love the body horror stuff in it. The face huggers being grown embryos is really fun.
Yeah.
The Station is a great character. Andy is...
one of the best characters they put in the recent years.
Yep. And yeah, all the leads were good. Everybody that died, I didn't want to die. Well, not everybody. Some of the people that died, I was excited to see him die.
It is one of the more likable casts of Alien, though. So.
And the chest burst scene is really well done.
Yeah.
Because it's less of an explosion and more of like...
It's slower.
Slow breaking, and it's very natural.
Yeah.
And number one is The Substance.
Yep.
The Substance is the best body horror ever made, maybe besides The Fly. It's super Cronenberg while being really pretty to look at.
Mm-hmm.
It's effective emotionally. It's the only horror film I've seen in theaters twice in, man, I don't know, maybe ever.
I'm trying to think if you had gone to see any other one.
Yeah, I can't think of a second horror movie that I saw twice. It might be the only horror movie I've seen in theaters twice. But yeah, it's a perfect movie. Demi's awesome. Margaret's awesome. Expertly directed. She, of course, that director made Revenge first. And if we did a list of the best horror movies I saw this year, I would have put Revenge as maybe number 2. I would have put Climax as number 1.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting list to do, but that she is just gonna be a superstar. She's the kind of director that I'm like, oh my God, I hope Marvel does not grab her and dump money. I hope she just keeps making.
I don't think that they would go for her personally, but
I know.
You never know.
But she's the kind of star that it's just like, I hope that she just keeps making films for her.
Yeah.
Because that is such an angry, awesome movie. And not only is it my number 1 this year, but it's so close to being The Thing, Scream. What's my 3 that I always say? Evil Dead 20. It's probably my 4th favorite horror film of all time.
I could see that for you. That makes a lot of sense with you.
Yeah, I think I'd say The Substance, then Evil Dead remake, then Scream, then The Thing. It's an all-timer for me. So that rounds out my list for 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. I know Grayson did, especially Smile too, which off camera we're gonna have a fist fight. It's gonna be awesome.
No, I mean, I gave it a shot. I tried. And
I'm gonna give you a shot of truth serum.
Your list, I had your top 3. Like I knew what your top 3 were. 10, 9, and 8, I was kind of shocked by.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a good list.
Especially because we're reviewing these movies together, so we're gonna naturally. But
for sure.
I'm excited to hear Grayson's, as you should be, coming up on the next episode of Carnage Candy, and I hope you enjoyed this. We will be doing more reviews on and countdowns as time goes on. But next year, we got a lot of cool plans coming up.
Yes, we do.
We're excited about so many movies. Starting off with that Wolfman.
Just starting in January. It's like, cool, we're already eating. Like it's going to be a
we're
great
eating
year.
good here on Carnage Candy, and you guys are too. That's the new catchphrase. We're eating good.
And you guys are too. It sounds like a buffet.
Yeah, it is. It's a Carnage Candy buffet.
It's a horror buffet.
Should have called it that.
Dude, that's so sick.
Horror buffet. You guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time when Grayson gives us his top 10 for 2024.
That's right. Goodbye.